Hello everybody, welcome to ITeachSkillz channel. In today's video, we're going to do a live vibe coding using Creo. This is our Creo dashboard over here. We're going to do a live vibe coding and we're going to make changes to our dashboard. This is our application that we're going to make changes to. This is what we got going on. You can see it's a very capable dashboard for all IT infrastructure or developer alike. It has the AI capability, assistant capability, and whatnot. So what I want to do is make a dashboard for this or improve on this application, because one of the things that we like is when you see here under system administration, you got Microsoft Intra ID management, and over here it's supposed to show us our users. Here it is. We have a total of 114 active users, groups. Total user is 125. You got 5 risk events and whatnot. So this is good. And this is my events of what's going on, what happened to what's going on with my environment. And that's my tenant information. So anyways, we got plenty of users, testing and stuff like that. But ultimately, we got groups also, you got applications and whatnot. So point of the matter is that this application is tremendous and I wanted to make it even better. So first things first, I'll do something simple change. I wanted to, instead of quantum ready enhanced, I wanted to basically add security events. So let's just talk to Creo and go to Vibe on the Microsoft Intra ID page and add security events and logs and information and make it searchable. And also do the same for audit log. And I want the data to be searchable for 30 days. So this is raw. It's unedited. It's live. Let's ask Creo to do this one. On the Microsoft Entra ID page under security, add security events to the security page, and also an info, and also make it searchable, and also do the same for the audit log page or menu. And do not mess with core code or functionality. So that's what we do. We copy our prompt and we're going to have it go. So let's just hit enter. And what we're trying to do ultimately is, if we come over here, we're supposed to have information on the security center and audit log. And I could add more refinement, but right now I will just leave it that for now and see what it does. So hit enter. So Creo is going to take a look at my code and it's going to say, he's going to try to see what it's going to do. So let's come over here. So you can see already, this is learning. It's reading the files, it's reading everything else, and it's trying to make the appropriate changes for us. This is what you want to see in your AI. So you can see here, adding this 30 days retrieval. I could have added something else. I wanted to say exportable into CSV or HTML, but that's something we can add later on. You're here for the journey. So, and why we like Creo is because you can see what it's doing. A lot of vibe coding application, I didn't use a lot of them, but for so far what I've done with Visual Studio and stuff like that, you just sometimes feel like you're not in control. This one, you're fully in control. You can cancel the prompt, what you did, your changes, you can revert it back, everything else. So, and after that, we should be able to test it too, which is even more better for us to do, to keep improving on this one. And I want to also improve on the AI assistant too. So that's the next plan too. So let's get rid of the debug menu. We won't use this a lot because we're not developer. We're vibe coder. We're vibe coding our way into it. You still need to know the basics though. I will not lie if I tell you that this is going to work without knowing the basics. You got to know your fundamentals of Docker container setup, how to stop Docker container, how to start, how to troubleshoot, because this thing is good. It can build anything you want for you, but without having the fundamentals, you're going to find out you're going to fail. And the biggest thing that you need to have is ideas. You need to think. Even though it can do a lot for you, you got to have a vision of what you want to see. And if that vision is good in your head, then this thing will make it whatever you want for you. And I am excited for that. So let's continue. So now it said it enhanced the security version. And you can take a look at what it did over here. That's before and after type of thing. And then it's going to replace the audit log. It already enhanced the audit log here, or it's trying to enhance the audit log. So once it's finished enhancing it, then we can take a look at it and go from there. So he said it finished doing that. We didn't ask a lot to do. And notice the reason I did not do that is because Creo or any AI prompt, for example, does not like to get more than 50 words per prompt. So if you have more than that, it's going to try to overthink it. And the thing about it here is that you still capped with limits. So my Amazon still caps you this on how many prompts you get. For example, if you're using this the entire day, you're going to eventually run out of, it's going to eventually time you out saying, take a break, you reach your limit for today. It has limit capability for today. And so that's why when you do enhance it, is to make sure that you finish the current prompt. So let's just say if you're asking it to do a page worth of changes and it times out in the middle of making those changes, you are out of luck. You just broke a lot of things, unfinished product and undrafted issues. And that means that the Docker container or the code is not going to run because the code needs to be finished. So that's why I do it less and less, and I want to see what it does and then go from there. So now he said it did this here. He added security tab to display searchable security events. Added log shows sign in. Both tabs support 20 days retrieval. Advanced filtering, searchable capabilities, real-time loading with progress data, risk level assessment indicator, responsive table layout with a vegetation. I don't know what that is. But anyways, that is making a summary right now. And every time this thing does something, it likes to document what it did. So you can see the documentation hasn't fully been made yet, but eventually it's going to make a summary of what it did. And it's going to see it's documenting everything else what he did. So this is why Creo rocks, it kicks butt. It's because it can actually make a real understanding what he did so you can keep track of it. If you're not a developer, writing this, even if you're a developer writing this is a painful, what you made changes to it. But this thing, it makes the changes and it makes it basically aware, make a note for you. So that way people don't have to double guess what you changed. Now, the part that you need to know is that you notice that he did the changes, but if you go back to our page, you don't see these changes showing up yet. Like you don't see anything on the security event yet, nothing, because you have to take down the Docker container. We're going to do docker-compose down to take down the container. You can restart it, but I find it better if I rebuild it from scratch, clear off all the caches and everything else, so that way it can give me all the real-time data. But if you are somebody who's pretty comfortable of what you're doing, then you don't have to shut it down. You can just work with the other enhanced one. So I'm going to do build. We're going to build application. We took it down first. It's gone. And you can see it's gone because it doesn't show up anymore. So we took it down. Now it's going to build it. Once we finish building it, then we're going to bring up the Docker container back up. And if all goes well, we can test whether we added those features and whether they work. The build is always the excruciation point. It takes a long time. Patience is required. In fact, I would say when you're making this application like this complex as I am, or any application for that matter, exercise patience. Do not try to achieve everything at once. Get one page done, make sure all the features work, move on to the next. Get another idea, implement it, test it, move on to the next. Rather than trying to get everything to do once, because this thing, again, it is a good tool, but it's only powerful as how much you keep instructing it to do what you want. The vibe coder is very important. Not just the AI tool, but the people who are actually telling the command, because this thing can learn. It's going to do nice thing for you. As you can see, it did it for us in making this journey, this dashboard the way it is. And now we're trying to improve on it. I expect nothing less. It will do the same thing, even better for us. But I wanted to say, without you testing this all the time, it's going to be super difficult. So it did this. Now let's go ahead and bring the Docker container back up. It built it, but it's not up yet. So once we bring it up, it should be able to come up. And if all goes well, we can test it. First, let's check the container. Is it running? It's running. That's good news. Now let's come over here. The Docker container is running. So let's come over here to this page. We're going to refresh it. And sometimes when you refresh it, you may not see everything else. So it takes a little bit. Even this one is not loaded yet. You can see. So the token is not refreshed completely yet. So the security page is there, but there's no event. So it did that. The audit log is not functioning correctly, but that's something to be expected sometimes. So let's come back here, and I need to probably refresh the token. So let's come over to settings, refresh. All right, let me pause the video. I'm gonna connect and then connect. So it broke something. It fixed it something, and it broke a lot. So I'm gonna say the connection using enterprise application registration ID and secret broke in the process after the change you made. And also audit log, it's opening blank page, not consistent with the other tabs. It should just open another, it should just function like security tab. Connection using the application registration and the security broke in the process after you made the changes. You made the recent. So now let's see what we complain about. So you can see here the issue right now is that if I come over here, refresh it, I don't see all my users. It's definitely says connected, but it's not really connected. So it's all really jacked up right now because that's one thing about AI. It's a great tool, but it can also break things a lot. So we're going to tell it to do this and we're going to see what it can do. So that's why when you're doing this one, I can't recommend enough actually that take a backup of your folder through GitHub or through C drive. So you can see over here on the C drive, I have so many copies, versions of it, because I don't like to miss all my changes or lose my changes because I went ahead and changed too many things on the AI. And so that's why you need to do that to save you some time and headache. So now it's saying that it's trying to fix it. I need to fix the connection issue, make sure that the added tab consistent with the security tab. And first, let me read the file. So it's telling me what's going on now. More consistent with the security tab by removing the complex subtabs and making a single unified viewable tab. So it's doing this one, but I still don't know if it's going to fix the other one. And that's what we're going to figure out, whether you can do it. But for now, we need to take this Docker container down. And then once it finishes doing this, then we're going to try this again. So it's editing that, still editing. It's not done yet. Once it finishes, then we can test it. Now it's actually updating the filtering logic with the combined audit logs. It said it finished that. So now it's working on the most important thing, the connection issue. The authentication configuration looks intact. Is it? It doesn't look intact to me. Now it's looking to find if there's a problem with it. So it says, let me check this. Anything broke that. It's reading the file. So far, it hasn't made any changes to the connection tab, which is what you expect because he doesn't know what to do. So it says there is going to add a function to test to verify the connection functionality works. Let's see, does it work? It says verify. So it looks like it's lost. It doesn't know what to do. It's going to add another comprehensive fix. So it's trying. Sometimes with AI, it will fail. It will fail miserably. That's why it's not ready for prime time sometimes, because even though it did a lot, it's bad when it doesn't fix the things. It breaks things while you tell it to fix something. But that's what we sometimes hear, or that's sometimes what we see. You're dealing with a lot of things. So it says it clear the browser cache, test the valid connection, check both security tabs. That's what it's saying here. Now it's going to document. It's going to do the simple test component. Now it's going to create a summary of what it did. I think it's time to take my Docker container down. Anyways, we're going to take it down and we're going to bring it back up whenever it's ready. So I'm almost done with though. And this is, again, if you're a developer, you probably be like, what the heck is he doing? Because you know what you're doing. But for me, I'm not a developer, so it's a lot of learning curve for me to try to do this. And so if you're a developer and this is what you do for day to day, you're probably going to be pretty much able to fix your way out of a problem like this. So let me build application again. If it succeeds or not, we'll find out. But I'm still impressed. You just need to know the caveat. Sometimes it's not always that simple to make this. Well, that's why it's even more impressive that what I added to my dashboard, considering what you see with the AI. Sometimes it hallucinates. Sometimes it fixes one thing, but it gives you another random error. Sometimes it tries to mess with you. And it's just a lot of learning. But it's still, this thing's still amazing. I cannot stress enough the fact that even with the flaw it has on some occasions, what you call 10% bad, 90% good. That 10% is acceptable within margins. And that's why it's not, but eventually I would expect this to get better as the models improve, reasoning improve. We may be Sonnet 5 or Claude version 5, whatever the version that is going to be later on in the future. I could see this becoming even better, not making the same mistakes or not touching what works and what not and so forth. It's better than most models. Gemini, for example, is bad at it, in my opinion, of messing with your previous things. Grok is good, but Grok is not supported on this one, so we'll see. So let me build the application. We'll see if my authentication works. And I'm going to have to pause my screen to test authentication because we have sensitive data. So let me refresh it first. So far, so good. I didn't test the connection yet. I'm just testing the pages. Security is there, audit is there. So we got things going on. Now I'm going to disconnect and then we're going to... So it fixed it. And now you can see here our security score is 87%, which is good. We got the users, we got groups, we got application, we got roles. Roles is nothing there. Security is also nothing. So the security doesn't have any data. Audit log doesn't show any data. So I need to tell it to fix. Oh, actually it did load the data. So look at this. The log works. Microsoft 365 service, risk level medium. Pretty nice if I say so myself. It's really awesome. Most of this user initiator is me. I'm the one that's initiating this. So it makes sense why. If I do the last 7 days, so the last 7 days works too. How about security page? Security loads too. So you got here, sign in attempt from the location of the IP. So really awesome. And then let's see if I can go to the event, high risk, no high risk, failed events. That's my brother. He's logging in, one of the IT students. So you can see that failed events, sign in events, and then directory changes. Nothing right there. So this is amazing. You can see that, guys, how change can be made. And sometimes you break things, you fix it. Don't panic. That's why I said keep your AI changes to one specific prompt at a time and change that and test it, then move on. Now what we need to do is we need to back up this thing. There's a couple of ways I can do this. This is the code I'm working with, A3. So this is what I'm working with. I'm going to copy this and then just copy here before we move on to anything. Because again, we like what we got. I don't want to lose it. And that's why we will not do anything until we back up that thing. I also need to figure out how to put that into GitHub, how to push that changes into GitHub. But I haven't figured out that yet. So I need to figure that out. And let me see if I go to Git. If I open an existing repository, let's just say it's existing folder. This one is the first one. I'm going to push these changes. Let's see if it's going to do it. So it says I stored that into that path over here. Let's see here if I got it. Let me go to GitHub. And then let's go to, that's my other username over here. So let's just see, that's not it. Anyways, we're going to wait until this is done. I wonder if we fix the user password reset. So let's just come over here to view. If I said the account is disabled, that's not working. That may be the next thing we're going to do. First, we're going to add roles. I want you to show all the roles and then add a license tab. We can do a lot more. So add a license tab. Let's load the events. I want to add a maybe additional thing. I want to export this. Let me type my print. So far, so good. Now I want to add export option of all the tabs with CSV, HTML, and also I want to add additional menu for sign-in logs, and I want all the attributes associated like device, IP, browser, and more, but keep the core code and functionality working. Do not mess with the connection. So now I want to add the export function of all the tabs with all the menus under Microsoft Intra IDE. And I'm also going to change the display if you guys know what I mean. This one just says Microsoft Intra IDE. The time, I'm just going to call it. Actually, I like the way it is. Let me not mess with it. That's arbitrary. I can make that changes, no problem. So that's what we're doing next. So far so good. Add export function of all the menus under Intra IDE with the CSV and HTML export. And also I want to add additional menu for sign-in logs. And I want all the attributes associated with the device, like with sign-in logs. Always refine your prompts if you can. More, but keep the core code and functionality working. Do not mess with the connection to the application or other working tabs. So this is, I'm giving a split instruction. I can't say what the word. I'm giving it specific instructions. I wanted to follow it. So that's what we're doing. So we did copy on our thing also. 3, let me see if I show the modification date. So we got our code copied. Good. Now we can go ahead and take the AI for the loose. Boom. Now it's doing that, so you can see it as you for yourself. And this is going to be the last change we're doing because we're already at 24 minutes. And I'll try to bring more live coding, but I'm also going to keep updating you on the progress. But you can see it's a lot of thinking. So now it's adding the sign-in log, as you can see. You can see just an example of what it takes to make one change, right? And that's why now you understand why we take a backup. and also why very persistent in making one change at a time. Now this one was a little bit more. I added two changes. I added export function and I added a new menu. That's a little bit risky. It's better to just keep it the AI specific goal every time. If you give it too many goals, it will lose context or it will try to hallucinate. Sometimes it will just basically try to do too much, and in the mix of it, when something does go wrong, which it can, it's always inevitable. Something will always go wrong when you're doing vibe coding. You don't have the skills, especially if you're not a developer. You do not want to be in the situation where you have to fix syntax error or closing bracket or too many brackets, or whatever it might be. Or you don't want to fix function issues because you don't know what that is, right? You're not a developer. So that's why you're better off to the AI do one thing at a time. If it breaks, just tell it, hey, revert or change, go back to your changes before you made the change, right? You go to your previous, source file and you can let it reference. So now I think it's time to take the Docker down. It's doing the documentation for us right now on the export. And here's the documentation being worked on. While it's doing that, I'm going to take the Docker container down so we can rebuild without any issues and cache. And so, because when we make changes, the changes is not going to be recognized unless we tell it to recognize the change. So the only way we can recognize the changes is by rebuilding the container with the new features. In the mix of doing that, sometimes we can see here's the documentation is doing it. So now it says it completed it. Now we can build the container. He thinks it did it. You have to build it. And that's the only way if it's actually did it or not is by building this. When I build this, if it works, you'll see it live. This is not hidden. I did not rehearse this. I am really just doing it on the go. And this is something I'm going to be using on my actual production for ITeach. So I'm glad you guys can see it. We all can succeed here, or we can fail together. While he's building, let's review the summary of what he did. What do you think he did? So completed. CSV export structured data for spreadsheet analysis, HTML for professional formatted report, available on user, group, application, security events, sign-in logs, and other logs. Our file naming with timestamps, proper data escaping, edit device information, name, OS browser, compliance status. He did a geo coordinates, application client usage, risk assessment, medium, low, MFA, required, not required, condition policy application status, detail. Oh man, it did a lot. And he also did a 11 detail column in the sign-in logs table, advanced filtering, failed 30 days. It did numerous things. Application registration, fully working. Now it's time to build it. It didn't fail. So normally if there was an issue, it will not build for you. So now that the fact that it did do that, let's test it. You right, guys? I hope you're ready for our creation to come to life right now, our idea. So let's hit refresh. Good. The sign-in log screen. I don't see the connection right away, but the sign-in logs works. And the application tab is still not really done yet. But let's go ahead. I'm going to pause and I'm going to connect back to refresh the connection again. So we're back. So you can see here, we got users, groups, applications, roles, there's nothing in there, security. It's loading the data, boom. It's awesome. You got audit log, it's loading the data, boom, awesome. Sign-in logs, did not find any sign-in log in the last 30 days, which is the problem. Sign-in log data is not being loaded. So that is an issue we're gonna have to fix because there's a sign-in log for sure. So sign-in log, there's no data being loaded, which is not surprising. We're doing a lot here. So let's go ahead and actually tell it to fix that sign-in log. But I'll still like what we got so far. And I will say, keep it going. So let's go take a backup again on this one. I'm going to type the prompt while it's copying that. The sign-in logs does not show any data like the other pages. We're getting an error. When I hit load sign-in log, doesn't load any data, nothing. How about the export? Does the export there? So export is there. Let's open it with OneNote. Boom. Export works fine. How about the HTML export? Boom. It is great. The export works on that page. About on the security logs. Does the export work? Awesome. Also add another 2 new tabs for risky users list and MFA block and block. and add the proper data to show the risky users and MFA status and block or unblocked. So I'm telling it to add more. I'm getting more creative, more bold. And after I save these changes, it's going to actually go ahead and actually add more things to it. The copying is done. Perfect. Now we're going to see if it's going to fix this. Do not mess with working core code and functionality. I have to tell it because this thing sometimes it tries to mess with it. And also do not mess with connection to application registration. All right, so we given another prompt. This is supposed to be the last one, but it gets appealing, always tempting to do more and more. So let's see if it's gonna fix it. If we fix the sign-in logs, then we're done it. That's what it is. We fixed it. You see the export works of CSV, HTML. We did everything else. So let's review the site while it's doing its thing here. So all this thing is great. Audit log is great. You can do it by failed logs. You can see all these things. It's amazing. And I could just search for, if I just go ahead, say, this is all user. If I say a Muhammad, so the Qadir is there. And I could do all those things. So now we just need to fix this. If we fix this, it'll be good. So we just need this to fix and then we'll be fine. So we just need this other piece to work. And I may not sure if I need an MFA or not, because right now it is pretty much all we needed. So let me go ahead and finish up this thing. And then once we finish it, then we'll be good. So let's see, what is it doing so far? So far it says here, I need to fix the sign-in logs data tab, loading issue, and add the 2 tabs, risky user and MFA portal. Let me first check the current sign-in logs, implementation, and then add missing functionality. The load signal sign-in log function looks correct, but let me check if the server endpoint exists. It's working properly. The server endpoint looks correct. The issue might be the sign-in log type is not loading data marks. Let me check the auto loading logic to fix it. And then he said he fixed it. Let me add the functionality for risky user MFA tabs. And then it's adding that, it's auto loading logic. And then it's doing all the fancy stuff. Now it's working on that. So while it's doing that, let's continue waiting patiently, because remember, we're not rushing the AI. We will need the AI to cook. And this has been phenomenal so far. I would like to actually add another menu later on to Active Directory, HCP, DNS, OneDrive, administration. Oh man, amazing thinking. It's going to be great. Like, we're going to have so much fun with this thing. So much fun. But right now, I'm fixing this page to make sure it does what it needs to do for me. And I incorporate the edit feature yet to any of this. So that's the next piece to do, I guess. So what does this do? I don't think the AI feature works for us yet, but we're going to try. Let me wait. While it's waiting around, we're going to test the AI feature. We got some time to kill anyway. Let's come over here, configure our AI chatbot to work here. This AI chatbot is amazing because it's actually going to allow us to do multi-model. We're going to select Qwen3. I need to end that RDP session, and then we're going to connect back again because my Windows app is not responding. So let's come over here to Windows app. All right, perfect. AI 3. Model 3.2 is perfect for us. It's working. Can't mess with that one because I don't want to end that. My recording is literally next to it. But it's doing documentation, so we must be close to done. So let me actually take the Docker, the container down. And then we'll test this, because you can see it's fixed. He said he fixed a sign-in log. It did. He figured out the root cause. It could be a hoax. We know sometimes it says it does it, but it may not have done it. So let me build this container back up, and let's see if we can build it back up successfully. If we can, we're gonna start this one. It tells you here's what it did while it's building this up. This is, again, in theory, it solved all this thing. In theory, not always. You have to test this to see if it actually did it. So. Issue is a sign-in log tab now loads data properly. Auto loading data automatically when tab is accessed. 11 detail comprehension, HTML, complex risk assessment view, assess risk assessment high risk or low, block MFA and disable, filtering, real time, new MFA tab menu, register method. Says it can do so much more. We can see it, but we have to test this to prove that it can do those things. So now it's almost done. And if all goes well, we will go ahead and build a container, test it to see. All right, we're gonna build a container. It's time for it, guys. We're gonna have to refresh this thing. See first if it loads. Good. Let's go home. We're gonna click on server management. Actually, not on server administration. And then we're gonna open our intra. It's not loading automatically, but first I can see the MFA portal is there, risky user is there, sign-in log is there. Because I need to fix the the enterprise application piece, and then we'll come back. So let's come over here. I'm gonna pause the video. All right, we established connection, guys, and now we have the new things to test. So we know users are working, groups are working, applications working, roles I haven't had anything, security is also working. After a little bit, it's loading. We got to give it some time. It's working. Audit log is working. After a little bit, it should work also fine. The moment we've been waiting for is the sign-in log fixed. Comment below if you knew if it's going to be fixed or not. I'm going to check it. It's not fixed. And this is the risk of AI sometimes. It just doesn't know what to do. It probably can't get the data. How about risky user? Risky user is fixed, but it's a fictional data. It's not getting the risky users from our tenant. So that's definitely not good. MFA portal is fixed. Again, it's actually fixed. MFA is actually working properly. Enabled for MFA. This one, for example, doesn't have MFA, so I can enable it. This is all disabled. I can enable MFA, so that's acceptably fine. And this is all the MFA enabled users. MFA disabled, enforced, registered, all users. So that's good. Risky user data is not real data. And then sign-in log still broken. So we're making progress. We're making a super progress, but we still are not done with it yet. So now I almost am perfect, like challenged. I gotta get this thing fixed now because we're getting so much progress done. But why is risky users sign-in log is not working and the risky users is broken? So let's go ahead, tell it to do this. So far, so good, but the sign-in logs app still is not showing any data from my tenant. It needs to function like the other tabs. Example, the audit log tab. Also, the risky user tab is showing demo data. I need real data from my tenant. Use my tenant connection to get this info. Finally, I want to be able to click on a specific event or sign in to learn more info. So on all tabs, allow me to click on a specific audit log, for example, so I can learn more. So far good, but the sign-in log tab still is not showing any data from my tenant connection. It needs to function like the other apps. Example, the audit log tab also, the risky user tab is showing demo data. I needed real data from my tenant using my tenant connection to my tenant connection info. Finally, I want to be able to click on a specific event or sign-in log to learn more info and get more detailed search. So on all the tabs, do not break existing working code or application registration connection. Boom. Right now we got it. This is the last piece, hopefully. Let's do it. Now we're in the trenches. This is the trenches right there. We're trying to fix one thing, but it's not getting fixed. This is definitely a lot, so we'll see what it's gonna do. But we already backed up ourselves, but we don't have any worries. If it doesn't work, we'll be. So it's saying it's gonna try to make the sign-in log work like the audit log pattern. So I can see the issued audit log endpoint working because it's using a similar approach. Error properly. Let me fix the sign-in log endpoint to work the same way, and also the risky user and the real data. So it's gonna add more detail functionality, so I can add a state-of-the-art detail. Now it says it's gonna add a detail model to the render section to make it the role clickable. It's gonna do that for sign-in log tab first. Oh shit! You see, this is the problem. You see how I run out of limit, and that is the issue when you're doing a big query. I was telling you guys, if you do too much, now it could have destroyed that what we did, or we can try to save it. So let me sign out of this, sign out to Google. Let's log in with our account. Continue. Let's see if it works. So I tried to save it by using a different account. This is very important. So when we click, it's supposed to add more data so we can actually see it. So it's supposed to be good if it works, but we're not worried. We have our prompt. We also know we have a backup. So if it doesn't work, we go back to the part that worked. So it's getting ready to end this by creating a summary. Oh, too much to do. So let me go ahead and actually take the Docker container down. Once the summary is finished, it's usually going to say it's finished. So we're going to try to build it after that again. And I'm hoping this is the last one because we tell it to look at what we got going on and use that same data. So maybe it did use it, maybe it did not. We'll find out. It's creating the summary though. The reason I'm not running the code before the summary is finished is because sometimes after the summary is finished, AI will find out, oh, I forgot to do something else. So now it did it. So we're going to build it now because while it's building it, we're going to review what it did. So let's build it. Let's understand what this thing said it did. So first of all, it said here, the issue sign and log tab not showing any data from the tenant connection. Fix the server with the same pattern as the added log tab. Result now looks real tenant data using added slash sign-ins. Okay, now it's gonna also say working function exactly like the added log tab. Real use data using the connection. Click any tab in the role to see the detailed information. Edit comprehensive detail model system. Works on any tab sign-in log. Design pattern, use stop propagation to prevent conflict. Working in any role table, more detail. Sign-in logs now show actual tenant data. Risky user attempt to get real data from Graph API. Smart callback, graceful degradation, permission insufficient. Clickable role, risk data. So it's really awesome. It did everything he said it's gonna do, but we'll test it. The server-side fix. Now let's run the Docker container. We build it. Actually, build it. We already built it. We're now gonna bring the Docker container up and away. Now let's come over here to the next one. Oh damn, DP crashed. So let me end this RDP screen. That's one issue I have. This Mac is bringing me. That is constantly crashing the RDP. All right, it built ready, guys. This is the time to see it. One way or another, let's see. So now let's come over here to our dashboard. All right, let's see it refresh. Good news, refresh works. I'm gonna pause this. All right, so we got it. Now let's check everything else. Users are fine, groups are fine, applications fine, roles, I didn't add anything. This is loading data, security. Is it loaded? If I click on it, it tells you more information. Oh, awesome. Let's just go to my brother Abdi Qadir. He failed to sign in. This is information, IP address, Seneca Garden, attempt to sign in from Microsoft device, failed, risk. That's good. Added log is the same probably. This is all fine. Let me click on update user. Failed to update the user. That's fine. Sign in log, the moment we're waiting for. And it's not doing it. Damn. Sign-in log is still problematic. How about risky user? It's trying to load data at least. That's not bad. So we got risky user, active, 20 attempts, sign-in detected, risk level high. Boom, that's good. MFA portal. So sign-in log is the only one that I cannot figure out for some reason. If I come over here to the user, MFA compliant, no, it's disabled. So let's just see, can I enable it? So I cannot enable it. It's disabled. So that's one thing. It's not compliant. About MFA enabled user and it's compliant. Boom. If I disable it, it's not going to allow me to disable it. So sign-in log is still persistent, but this is a good progress. And I think I have to end it here because it took too much time, as you can see, to do this. So I wanted to end it here. So, but for now, I'll definitely come back, guys, for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll fix the sign-in log for sure. Right now, it's just a lot more exciting to end it here because we've already been doing it for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Any more than this, nobody's going to watch it. So thank you guys for watching, subscribing. Until next time, have a good rest of the day. Peace.